So now today, I'm not here to do a children's video, I'm here to talk to the grown-ups. And we're going to talk about phonics. Phonics is that dreaded word. It's a little bit scary and it has got nothing to do with how we were taught in school at all. Well, I know for me anyway, phonics is very, very new. And it can be a little bit daunting, especially when you're at home trying to teach children how to read and write as well. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about what phonics is and hopefully some ideas on how to teach it and use it at home with your children as well. Okay. So I'm going to go back to when I was at school and possibly when some grown-ups were at school as well. And I know that I was taught the names of the letters like this. S, O, R, T. Yeah? Is anybody else being taught like that as well? So when you're reading, you read the letter S and you read the letter P and you read the letter D, don't you? Okay. Well, I just want to show you how children interpret that and how we can write that. I've got my whiteboard and pen. I'm going to do some writing for you like I'm a reception child or a nursery child learning how to read or write. So we're not doing phonics, we're going to write the word dog. Okay, D or G. Yeah, we all happy with that? So I'm going to write D, 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 O, G. G, G. So I'm a reception child and I've sounded out the word dog because I've been taught D, O, G. D, O, G. Does that say dog? It doesn't, does it? So, people who are involved in education and making new ways of teaching children had a think about that and thought, actually, that's not a good way to teach children because D isn't anything. It's not a letter name. There is no letter called D. That's not a thing. There is no letter called G. That's not a thing, okay? They aren't names of letters. The names of the letters are D and G. But actually, when you think about D and G, those letters don't make that sound either. So when we're teaching children D or G, we're not teaching them the letter name, but we're also not teaching them the sound that the letter makes either. So actually, what are we teaching them? We're not teaching them anything useful at all. We're not teaching them anything useful that's going to help them read or write. So we need to scrap that. So that way of teaching has gone and we don't do that anymore. There is no D, there is no B or K or L or R. They are gone because they're not letter names and they're not sounds. In reception, when we are teaching children a new letter, we teach the correct name of the letter, which most of us know as capital letters, but it is actually the correct name of the letter, and we teach them the phonetic sound of the letter as well. Okay, so they're learning to see it, they know the name of it, but they also know the sound that it makes. And it's really, really important to teach children the correct sound, because if they're not hearing the correct sound, then that's going to translate into their writing and they won't be writing the correct letter. Okay, they'll be writing what they can hear, which might not be right. So I'm just going to give you a few examples, okay? Now, letters are taught in a specific order. And the reason they're taught in that order is because when we're teaching children letter sounds, we need to teach them how to read them and how to write them. And they need to be able to apply that knowledge to read and write. So, for example, if you taught A, B and C together, there's nothing they can read or write that's got those letters in together. So they can't apply their new learning. They can't apply that knowledge of phonics. So what we teach is this. So we've got the letter S and it makes the sound S. So it's not sir. Sir is not the name of the letter and it doesn't make a sir sound, does it? It's not sir. It's S. S for submarine, S for sock, S for sausage. So it's the letter S and it makes the sound S for sunflower. We also teach the letter A, which makes the sound A. A for anchor, A for apple, A for astronaut. Okay, so it's the letter A and it makes the sound A. We'll then teach this letter. It's the letter T, and it makes the sound T, 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 T. So again, really important, grown-ups. We're not saying T, because it doesn't make the sound T, does it? It's not turtle. Okay, it's T, 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 T. Turtle, teeth, tomato. So we teach them in this order. So we teach S, A, T, because when the children have learnt those 3 letter sounds, there are lots of little words that they can read. So they can read S, A, T, sat. They can read at, at. Okay, so they can already start to apply that knowledge. So we teach those ones first. Now, on my letter cards, there are 2 letters. I've got the capital and the lowercase. When we begin to teach children, you would always introduce the capital and the lowercase. So for example, for name writing, they should be using the capital letter for the beginning of their name. But in reception, and especially in nursery when we start to teach some children letter sounds, we focus on the lowercase. So it is a letter S, and it still makes a S sound, but when we're looking at it and learning to write, we use lowercase. Okay, and then capitals will come in later on in reception. The next sequence of letters that we teach are these ones. Now it's the letter P, and it does not make a P sound, it goes P, 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 P. It's a tricky one. P for parrot, P for pie, P for pirate. Okay? Then we will teach this one. This is the letter I, and it makes the sound I. I for itchy. I, 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 I. I for igloo. I for insects. I for iguana. And then we will teach this one. This is the letter N, and it's not a N, it's N. It makes an N sound. When we hear the phonetic sound of this letter in a word, it makes an N sound. N for nose, N for nest, N for needle. N. And when we're teaching the letter N, sometimes it's fun to pretend to be an aeroplane and go N. Like an aeroplane flying through the sky. So again, when we've taught those sequence of letters, there's even more words that have just opened up to them that they can start to read and write. So you've got pin, p, I, n, pin. Okay, so it's not p, I, n, it's p, I, n. Okay, so those are the first sequence of letters that children will be taught. It's really important to say that children in nursery school might learn some letter sounds in the summer term before they leave to go to primary school in reception, but not all children will be doing this. And I know as being a reception teacher as well, that the children will start from the very beginning, because reception teachers like to make sure that the children have been taught the sounds correctly, and they want to make sure they've been taught in the way that the school teaches phonics as well. So it doesn't matter what your child has been learning at nursery and how many letter sounds you've been teaching them when they're 3, they will start from the beginning when they go into reception in primary school. So try not to worry too much about it. The most important thing is that children can hear sounds in words. So we're not recognising letters and we're not naming letters, especially not in that way when we say p, n, okay? It's about learning to understand the sound of those letters and hearing those letters in words. So the best thing that you can do for your children is by doing things like playing I Spy. You know, I spy something beginning with What could it be? Okay, I spy something beginning with oh, it's a lollipop over there. Okay, I spy something beginning with t, 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 t. Oh, it's a tree or a train. Okay.
A tree.
So the best thing you can do with your child is teach them those sounds, the proper sounds that the letters make. And there are loads of websites that you can have a look on to check for those sounds, okay? I know that on CBeebies, Mr. Tumble, Justin Fletcher is very, very good at letter sounds. He's fantastic. We use Mr. Tumble at my house. and I know that alpha blocks on CBeebies as well. So if you're not sure about any of the sounds, there's all those different things that you can look at to help you. Okay, so enjoy phonics, try not to find it too scary, and don't just remember, it's about listening. It's about children being able to hear and recognise sounds before they can read and write them and recognise letters. Okay, bye.